about the pink elephant in the room. They're dead. Sorry to break the news to people. I mean, hey, obviously I can't know for sure, right? Maybe they're alive, and I'm sure some might get offended by my stance because, you know, maybe they're alive. I mean, we've seen people come back from the grave, literally, right? Well, I guess not necessarily literally. I don't know about back from the grave, literally. Back from the dead, literally. Because if you're in the grave, I haven't heard of somebody in the grave coming back. Just trying to be accurate here. Anyway, so it's a possibility, but it's a major stretch. But I think the coverage of this story has been typically pretty bad. One of the first things that I thought about, that I didn't really hear any conversation from with the media when they first covered it, everyone was still focused on cobbled together. This thing was cobbled together with bubble gum and popsicle sticks, right? My first thing, initially when looking right away, I'm just like, it's 2023. I posted about this too. It's 2023. Why are we searching all over the sea for some little tiny submersible, beacon? Some kind of beacon? Some kind of electronic signal? Something? Anything? Right, so that was my first thing. And, you know, apologists will come and say, well, such and such, whatever. Look, there's absolutely no excuse for a good journalist to be covering the story and to not initially focus on one of the most important factors. The submersible's ability to transmit its location. Some kind of signal, some kind of something. I mean, we have all this technology today, and you're going to be going that deep, and you don't have some kind of system where you can transmit some kind of signal that can be detected. Right? And even if there's a reason why, because there's certain limitations of underwater, right? Still, it should be the conversation. It's like those idiots with the Andrew Tate story who want to, the apologists, talking about, oh, they're asking him about the stuff that everybody wants to know about. They don't say it that way, right? They're asking him about the allegations, right? That's the thing everyone wants to know about, right? That's the big thing. That's the scandal. And they're saying, oh, how dare they ask about the scandal, the very reason people want to know about it. They should ask about how they feel in prison. How's prison been? Like, really? Oh, right, really? So the major thing here to me should be, what kind of system did this submersible have that would allow for the ability to locate it if it gets lost or there's some kind of issue, right? What kind of system does it have? Does it have a system? How does it work? What are possibilities of why it might have failed, right? That's what inquiring minds want to know, right? People anyway, right? Because that's really dangerous what they're doing, 13,000 feet. I mean, a fundamental thing is going to be, you're deep in water, over 2 miles underwater. A fundamental thing is going to be, well, two things, right? Your ability to navigate, which you don't have GPS on the water, but whatever system you have, that's going to be a key thing. It's not like you can turn left at the stop sign and look for some orange building or something. You're deep under the water where there's no light. It's black down there. So navigation is fundamental. And also right there with it is your ability to be located from people above the surface, right? In case you get lost, in case it's an issue, we need to be able to find you, right? So to me, that should be one of the big things talked about in the beginning. Then here's another thing I don't hear anyone talking about. So, as usual, the media just says all kinds of stuff. When I say the media, I mean the media. Independent, corporate, left wing, right wing, right? They say stuff, and the audience just sits there and, oh, okay. A lot of people don't think critically, right? So the media can give a half-assed job, and people don't necessarily even pick up on it. They may suspect something, but they're not clear on what's missing. What is missing? Many things missing. They start talking about 10,000 square mile radius. Now, again, apologists, anything I say, they're going to say, oh, that's because of blah, 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 right? Not saying there isn't an explanation. Not saying there isn't a logical reason for what I'm about to bring up. But the fact that it's not being discussed widely by the people who are talking about this thing, which seems a little bit strange. Now, many people in the audience won't pick up on that it's strange, but it sounds strange. And they're not even discussing the details of it. 10,000 square mile radius. Why are you searching a 10,000 square mile radius for the submersible? I mean, you make it seem as if this is some kind of a boat, right? Above the surface boat that is on some thousands of mile journey, right? And has been missing for days, right? Travels at a considerable speed if it's going to cover those distances. Considerable speed, and it's been missing for days. So it could be anywhere in a 10,000 square mile radius, right? But here's the reality. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about some ship, some fast-moving, surface-traveling ship. We're talking about an underwater submersible. Now, my understanding is it doesn't even have any kind of major propulsion system. I mean, any kind of propulsion system it has is for minor navigational purposes. So in terms of mitigating the effects of currents. So I want to be in this position. The current wants me to be somewhere else. I can't have that. I need to be, I need to be able to be where I want to be, where I need to be. So I've got thrusters that can counteract, right? I've got a 5 mile per hour or 5 knot drift effect being created by a 5 knot current, right? And then I have a thruster that can counteract it with a 5 knot counter propulsion, making up words here, in the opposite direction, right? Current wants to push me due north, right? And I've got a thruster that's pushing me with the same level of effort due south, right? So I'm canceling out the tendency of the current pushing me out of my location. Well, that's the kind of stuff that it has, and probably slow speed, just you need to be able to move around, right? So we're in the location of the Titanic. The Titanic is 300 feet north of our position. We need to be able to get there, right? We can't just hope on that there's a current that's conveniently going in that direction. It needs to be able to move. But moving at high speeds is not a thing that a submersible is designed to do, as far as I know. I mean, this is an experimental thing. Who knows what craziness they did in there? But generally speaking, from my understanding, a submersible is a slow-moving underwater craft, right? And most of its movement is just for what's the word? More localized navigation, right? Meaning I'm not really traveling somewhere. Kind of like a shuttle. Think about a shuttle that, not even get you to the airport. A shuttle that gets you around a large, like let's say there's a large mall or something, and there's a little shuttle, like the shuttles at the actual airport, right? Like those guys that they pick you up and they'll drive you around, like maybe you're an older person or something like that, right? Those things are not designed to go anywhere. They don't go at high speeds. They don't have the air conditioning and rain protection, right? They're just designed to move around in a localized area. So from my understanding, that's how these would work. So a bigger craft is going to get you in the zone, right? But you still need an ability to maneuver around within that zone, right? To get to precisely where you want to be. And to me, that's the extent of the sort of a maneuverability of this submersible. So that being said, why are you searching a 10,000 square mile radius? Right, again, that's like a ship that's been going for days, traveling thousands of miles, getting anywhere within those thousands of miles. No, from my understanding, and even you look at what the news talks about it, they keep showing this map of like where they came from, and then it goes, what, did the submersible launch from land and then slowly, moved at some really, really slow speed for who knows how long with limited air out to the Titanic? Are we to believe that they did not take this thing to the Titanic wreck with a larger craft, right, getting you in the vicinity of the wreck with a larger craft, and then at that point, your main navigation is down, mostly straight down, not literally straight down, because obviously, technicalities of I don't know what the level of technology is right now, but I would figure there might be multiple reasons why they're not exactly right on top of the site. I mean, maybe the site can move. It's moved since the last time it's been there. Issues with the current making the ship trip. I don't know. I can imagine there might be some need to move around a little bit, but probably within. I mean, I'm just guessing. I don't have the expertise in this area, right? But if I were to guess, no more than hundreds of feet. Let's say up to 1,000 feet of local navigation, meaning from the point that you sort of detach from the mothership, right? You would only move a maximum of 1,000 feet away from that location, right? And again, I'm not qualified. I don't have the expertise. This is just using logic and analysis, is where I'm coming to this conclusion. Anyone with any actual experience, let me know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I was going to join the Navy, but I didn't join the Navy. I flipped to the Air Force at the last minute. So I don't have any Navy experience, but I'm just thinking logically here. So with that being the case, why are we searching a 10,000 square mile radius? How on earth would they get thousands of miles away from the mothership? How? What miracle? Are we talking about some Bermuda Triangle stuff? Like, how do you travel? I mean, it takes a lot of engineering feats to be able to travel thousands of miles, right? You don't do that accidentally, right? I mean, I think some of the fastest currents we have in the world, I think 5 to 10 knots in terms of out in the ocean. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that one. Again, not my level of expertise. And even if it's higher, let's go crazy. Let's say 30 knots. At a speed of 30 knots, how long would it take you to get thousands of miles away from the mothership? And traveling at a speed of 30 knots, is that going to be a consistent speed? Right? And I don't think there's any. And how long? Even if we have a current that goes 30 knots, is that current going to go at 30 knots for thousands of miles? Hundreds of miles? Is it even going to go a mile? Right? The idea that there's a current that's traveling at any, any sort of feasible speed that would be required to travel thousands of miles. The idea that we have a current that goes that fast, that lasts for thousands of miles, I mean, it's absurd. At the most, extreme scenario, they get pushed, I don't know, they get pushed a mile or two. Extreme scenario, they get pushed a mile or two. Heck, 5 miles, right? 5 miles, they get pushed. So again, why are we searching a 10,000 square mile radius? Now, again, as I said before, maybe there's a logical explanation. I'm just not aware of it, right? I don't have the expertise. But why is it not being discussed? Why is our media just saying stuff that sounds crazy, and then the audience, well, we know why the audience is accepting it. Again, critical thinking, right? But this is the news media. This is what they do for a living. Communicate, investigate, right? Are they just focused on the drama of, oh my goodness, these people out here in the water and cobbled together, it's cobbled together, right? Are they just focused on the clicks, or they actually have a genuine curiosity to understand what happened, how did it happen, and post the situation, how do we prevent it from happening again? I'm not convinced that that's the case. I think they're focused on sensationalism, right? There isn't a genuine desire to understand what really happened here and to inform the audience, right? So once again, not saying there aren't logical explanations and answers to the questions. Just because I don't know the answer and I just happen to not listen to any media that's discussed it, doesn't mean it hasn't been discussed, and doesn't mean that there isn't a logical explanation to all the stuff that I'm talking about, right? So my thing is more a critique on the media overall, right? If there's an exception, somebody did a pretty good job, let me know. I'd love to hear what they talked about. But generally speaking, when I listen to the media talk about the story, it's just cobbled together, bubble gum and popsicle sticks. That's what they want to talk about. And, oh, where are they? Will they survive? Blah, blah, blah. The world is captivated by this whole story about the submersible. A lot of them, most of them don't even know it's a submersible. They call it a submarine. Right? I was watching Breaking Points. They had on the card submarine, and then they kept saying submersible. So even when they know it's a submersible, they still have the card that says submarine. And somehow the producers don't see this. They don't see, like, hearing them say submersible, see it says submarine. And by now, this is a big story. Everybody should know the difference between a submarine and a submersible, right? If we had real media, that would be part of the story, right? Part of the story is, what is this thing? It's a submersible. What's a submersible? And also part of the story is the fact that many people are calling it a submarine. Is that correct? Is that not correct? Why is it not correct to call it a submarine? That's journalism, right? The amount of time that they spend repeating the same story. Oh, we don't know. Oh, they have 40 hours of air, 30 hours of air. Oh, we don't know. Like, they don't know anything. There's nothing really new, but they keep talking about it because it gets them views. So they have plenty of time to inform people, right? Every time you talk about it, let's learn something new. What is a submersible? Why are they searching 10,000 square miles, right? How would it have gotten far? What system was in place to locate the submersible? Was there a system in place to locate the submersible, right? What are the challenges in trying to locate this? What are the challenges in rescuing it? What's the probability of a rescue? What would it take to actually rescue a craft like this? Let's get an expert in and have them talk to us about what are the challenges? What do you need to do to accomplish a rescue on this submersible, right? Yeah, that's American media for you. This is the Debate Me channel. Debate in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well. If you appreciate this unique take on this story, if you recognize that no one else has taken this take, that everyone is just being lazy and repeating what everybody else is saying, or right-wing media, always, as always, lowest common denominator, their take is, oh, it was woke. They didn't want to hire white people. So, go woke, drown in the sea. Like, that's their take, right? Everybody else is just cobbled together. So if you appreciate me actually taking a moment to actually think about this and have a genuine curiosity in this and sharing my thoughts with you, support the channel. Click on the like button, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. But be warned, just about every video I post pisses off one half of my audience or the other. So no snowflakes on this channel, because sooner or later, I'm going to go after somebody you like. I'm going to strongly disagree with you on something and not worry about the fact that you might unsubscribe. I'm always going to be in pursuit of the truth, regardless of the consequences. And I'm out. I got to take this baby into the shop today. Got numerous problems. I got electrical gremlins, sway bar links loose, battery keeps dying. Yeah, she needs some work. Tires are old too, so I don't have full traction. So I gotta get everything sorted out. Oh, there's my store I'm going to. Right now I'm doing Amazon return after the return date, a month after. So we'll see how this goes. Wish me luck, guys. I've been really, really busy, man. I'm sorry. Amazon didn't get my things returned. Always miss reverse. Reverse is tricky. But I love stick shift, man. I don't want no automatic. No automatic for me. It's a horrible parking job, but that's a one-handed stick shift parking, right? I'm working 3 pedals and a shifter, and doing a live stream. So forgive me if my parking is not perfect, man. And I'm working this, right? Make sure my ashy toes aren't in the shot. I'm working that pedal, I'm working that pedal, I'm working that pedal, right? Forgive me if my parking is not on point. Let's see. Actually, it's not bad. Let's see the back up some more. That ain't bad, man. All right, guys. Let me motivate. Got a lot of stuff to do.